Alrighty. Hello, my name is Andrea, and today I'm with the amazing office at Assuria Financials, and I'm so excited to share what this team has been doing in the past couple of weeks. They have made me very proud, making changes in their fitness, in their nutrition, and their sleeping. Someone just today told us that they moved so that it would be a more peaceful drive. Those are the kind of commitments that my clients make, and also the kind of efforts that don't seem like a big deal, but do cause your energy to shift. So today we're going to actually talk about meal planning, which I'm very excited to talk about, because a lot of times people get a meal plan and they can't stick to it and they don't really understand why, or they start to look for another one or a new detox or a new cleanse. So today we're going to show how to personalize your meal plans using a grocery list that I've created. And the amazing team here is also going to chime in with whatever they would like to share. And our questions as we go around the table will also be welcome, because the more interactive this is, the more fun it is. And also all the people that get to see this are going to benefit from it as well. Okay, so I'm going to start with sharing the grocery list. So go ahead and let me know, what kind of grocery stores do you all go to?
Ralph's, Trader Joe's,
Day Brothers,
Whole Foods.
Alrighty. And what have you noticed?
Whole Foods.
Keep closing.
What about like the more local, like I know in the Valley they have the Chinese stores, those like what is it called? There was an Ashwood. Yep. And then also like El Super, right? And Vallarta. I like going there for the fresh herbs.
Oh, yeah.
Like Vallarta always has the best avocados. That's what I love about my parents' house. It's right across the street. Alrighty, so we're going to go into the grocery list here. And in the grocery list, you can see the first category is fruits. Fruits is such an important category for me because we oftentimes are afraid to have it. A lot of the 90s and 80s trends of diets were no fruit. So the fruits that I have here tend to have a lot of vitamins and nutrients. So everything from berries to lemons, to cucumber, tangerines. And the other upside to this is that you'll see the variety of these in the stores. So who can tell me which of these fruits you've tried in the past couple of weeks, or which ones do you like?
In my smoothies, I have berries, like all types of berries.
Kiwis are eating over there.
Bananas, but never green. I have yellow ones.
Why green bananas?
Excellent question. So green bananas actually have a less sugar than the more ripe ones. Now, the only reason why I put really green bananas is also because you can digest them a little bit easier. So a lot of times with the Energize solution or my Energize program, you'll see that my main goal is to simplify digestion. So when you have green bananas, it's a little bit easier to digest, just like green papaya also. If you like post-workout or like raw vegans, if you see raw vegans, they'll eat like 5 or 6 bananas, but a lot of times they wait till they're more ripe. They have more calories, more sugar, but it's also more broken down. They're easy to absorb those carbohydrates versus with the green banana, it has more fiber in it. So certain things like that are going to help your digestion, like avocados. Those you want to wait until they're very ripe because they actually have more fat. So you want to wait for those to be easier to digest. Okay. And if you feel like you want to have, also I like bananas, and these are great for dessert. I don't think I share this dessert with Christine. Oh no, I did share it with you. Bananas, chocolate covered bananas. That's like choco bananos are traditional for any Latinos, right? Like they're so delicious. But I also do strawberries, sometimes mango and peaches. So it's also something that you can do at home with your partner or with your kids, and get those fruits in. Okay, so there's a lot of other fruits that aren't included in here, but these are the ones that I found sometimes we forget. Even like cucumber. I know people say, well, that's not a vegetable. Well, you can put it in both. I consider it a fruit just because it has more water base rather than having like heavier fibers, or like potatoes have more starch in it. So I put it more in the fruit section. what are some ways that you guys can have these fruits outside of like smoothies?
With ranch.
Cucumber with the chili powder.
Tahini. Yeah, my girlfriend loves this.
Mm-hmm.
Cucumber and tahini.
Beer. So you got limes and beer.
And the other thing, some people like seafood, right? So a lot of times people don't necessarily want to go from not having meat to being completely plant-based. So seafood has been one of the greatest things that you can actually do, because that's how I started eating like ceviche and actually fish, because I wasn't a big fan of fish. But when they put lemon on top of it and it pretty much cooks in itself, you don't even smell it. Like if it's made right, with tomatoes and cucumber. So that's an easy way to get fruits and vegetables while you're having a meal. So it was great, like someone said, right, dipping it in ranch. If you're out, like you guys are going to go out. I'm not going to say that you're not going to go out to dine out or to restaurants or something like that. But even then, like you said, having some like veggie sticks or something like that to dip in your ranch, right? That's something that you can do while you're out. Or sometimes when, for instance, right now, Christina, you're sticking and committed, right, to the plan, which means that even if you go out to do certain things, you're going to choose to have your healthy alternatives. So this is where you can also include these into snacks. These can be part of meals like the smoothies or even on salads. I like to do green apples on salads. Since I tried it, it's delicious. Also with cranberries, it's in the beginning I was like fruit and spinach or lettuce smoothies, okay, but in a salad, until I started trying it. And that's where I also do like tangerines, mandarins, and now you'll see a lot of that around. So any questions with the fruit section?
So I had a question because you said cucumbers you categorize in the fruit category. Like an old school like way of like teaching that was like, if it has seeds in the middle, it's technically a fruit. Is that right or wrong?
So you can kind of use that as a rule of thumb. The other way that actually you can, there's this really cool book. It's called the Farmer's Almanac, I believe, and you'll see it at like grocery stores and different places like that. Whole Foods definitely has it. Sprouts has it. I love to look at the almanac because you get to learn food, like fruits and vegetables, from the farmer's perspective. So from the farmer's perspective, they say, well, if it grows on a vine or if it grows on a tree, and so certain different changes, like that will shift. I would say, honestly, whatever you feel comfortable with doing. I've had this conversation with my younger clients too, and they want to know. I say use that one. They can use that rule of thumb to consider, what if it has seeds, consider it a fruit. Pretty much it is something that tends to work. Okay, if something comes up but that is outside of that, that's just how nature works, right? So the fruit, oftentimes with the meals, if it's for like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? One of those meals, you can incorporate it with your meal. So let's talk about a breakfast meal that would include any of these fruits or greens or carbs. The first column.
I mean,
like an omelet?
Easy one is like kale. Yeah, like an omelet with kale or egg whites with kale.
Spinach.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And like one of the great easy ways, and I love that Tony Robbins even said this, like you can do like just a mix of vegetables in the morning, or he says he has salads in the morning. I'm like, that's great, because before I used to think I was the only one that wanted salads in the morning. So it's okay to have breakfast that seems out of the ordinary. I like to think of it too with my nurses and doctors or people that work in the ER. They don't really have segmented when is their breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They just eat when they can, right? So the main focus oftentimes on the plate can be greens or vegetables, because you're going to get more micronutrients. So if you were to have a round plate, let's say, I like to say the rule of thumb of the size of your two hands should be the size of your plate. If you have giant hands, well, good for you. You get to eat more, right? If you don't, then I'm sorry, right? Just something where you can start to use your hands rather than trying to fit or measure. You can still weigh out things if you want to, but for me to really like teach you guys intuitive nutrition, this is what we're doing. Intuitive nutrition is to show you how you can find out these clues in your food, right? So the size of 2 hands, like this, right? Open hands. Now, for your protein and your carbs, you want to close your fingers. So you close your fingers more like the cup. All right. So that's about a half cup each one. So together would be 1 cup.
For what?
So if you see
carbs and proteins together? Oh, cut 1 carb, 1 protein.
Whether it's apart or the same, it's the same size measurement, the serving. Because let's say when you go to a restaurant, you're not going to ask them, oh, how many grams of rice is on that? No, you want to be able to get the plate. This is in the plate, it's my iPad. But you get the plate, you see your food on there. You want to be able to eyeball, okay, I shouldn't eat this whole giant plate. Like, if you guys realize the plates that we get served out when we dine out, like, that is abnormal sizes of plates. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then in some places you get really tiny amounts of food, right?
Yes.
So being able to measure based on your hands is going to be the best way where you can all gauge how much of these you're supposed to have. So let's say we're having another breakfast meal that I really enjoy is sweet potatoes, right? It doesn't often sound like a breakfast food, but sweet potatoes are sweet. They have magnesium, they have potassium. So all of these great things to help relax the body. Sometimes when I want to go a little extra, I definitely go for like sweet potato pancakes. I'm going to say I haven't made them at home, so they're probably not the cleanest out there, but that is a recipe that I'm working on because I love pancakes. So being able to incorporate the vegetables, for instance, for kids, right? Or for some of us that haven't had some of these vegetables for a long time, like garlic isn't necessarily a vegetable, but it's under spices. Garlic is one of those great things that you can eat daily, but I couldn't stand it. Like, it was way too strong for me. So I started incorporating it little by little. And then I realized that I really like to cook Thai food. So Thai food uses a lot of garlic, but they use peanut butter and other sweet things to bring down the spice. So that's another good way to start putting together some meals. So let's hear about a breakfast meal that you guys would like to know how to replace. I'd say maybe it's not that great of an option. Or maybe like a traditional breakfast.
Bacon.
Bacon?
Chilaquiles or pancakes.
So what do you think of the chilaquiles that makes it not healthy?
Chips.
The cheese, the corn tortillas,
Fried oil.
that's their fried. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And
The
so
carbs.
like the tortillas. So have any of you heard or seen coconut flour tortillas?
Never.
No.
Adam, you've seen them or no?
Yeah, I have.
Coconut flour tortillas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've heard of coconut flour.
Yep. Coconut flour tortillas. They're a little bit more difficult to find. You'll find it at in the Valley Follow Your Heart store. Whole Foods has them. Sometimes Sprouts has them as well. So with anything like that, you can also do kale. Okay, I'm going to explain how. Those types of things, you can just throw them in the oven, bake them, and they crisp up. Kale chips are my ultimate favorite, and you can put anything on top of it. And it gives it the texture, but it is going to get a little bit more soggy. Now, if you use the coconut flour taco tortillas, those will crisp up. So you can cut them up in little triangles. Usually it's round, so cut them up and then throw them in the oven, make them into chips. Now they also have the blue corn chips. Those are a healthier alternative. You do want to see that with like chips, if you're purchasing, that you're getting things with not corn oil. So now they use like safflower oil or sunflower oil, which again, you can use those also at home. So when I make kale chips, which are one of my favorite, kale chips, you break up all the kale and then you place it on a plate. You drizzle some oil on top and nutritional yeast. Have any of you heard of nutritional yeast?
Yes.
Felipe has. Mm-hmm. So nutritional yeast has a cheesy taste to it. You put that on top, rub it all together, throw it in the oven, and it's like cheesy kale chips. So is very healthy, like extreme in a way of what chilaquiles is, right? And then the middle one would be like coconut oil, coconut tortilla chips. You could use also, now they have a lot of non-dairy cheeses. Whole Foods is also great with that. Sprouts is great with that. Trader Joe's is also trying to do, I haven't gone to Trader Joe's recently, but they've also tried to make some of these non-dairy cheeses. And in the beginning, a couple years back, sorry, Ken, did you want to add something? Adam?
Actually, I was at Whole Foods, I think on Saturday, and I saw a cashew cheese. Is that good, or should I stay away from that?
Was it in slices, or was it in like a tub, like a creamy texture?
It was pre-sliced.
Okay. The cashew cheese in the beginning, it wasn't the best, but it actually has the better texture. So does almond cheese. I know that's kind of the in between, but there's this one almond cheese that they do a blend of. They do like 40% dairy and 60% almond. That one I feel texture wise is the closest one, and flavor wise. The cashew cheese, it's been a little while since I've tried like the more recent ones, but in the beginning it tasted a little too nutty. Health wise, it's a very great alternative because it is going to get those healthy fats. That's actually what we turn to dairy for. When we crave dairy or cheese, we're actually looking for those healthy fats. So cashew cheese, almond cheese are great. The soy ones, I would say check with me. There's some soy brands that I am okay with. There's some soy brands I'm not a fan of. So you can always snap a picture of any of those things, especially at the store. Most of the time I try to get back to you pretty quickly, but if you just snap a picture, I'll get back to you within the day, letting you know what I think about that product in specific. But I definitely, what size was it? Was it like a small pack?
No, it was like a normal kind of thing that you'd see like Stater Brothers, like a 10, 12 slices of cheese. It was like a cashew cheddar.
Interesting. Oh, and cheddar. Okay. See, something like that I would try, because I like cheddar. I like the sharpness, but it would also be a challenge for them to get the cashew to taste like cheddar. And as entrepreneurs, and this is why I love this, because we get to like bring attention to these small companies that maybe, like I've met some of the owners of like Iggy. I met him when he was first starting the yogurt. And for him was because his mom kept getting sick from like regular yogurt. Like it had a backstory to it too. So I think it's really cool when you give these products a chance. Even though they might taste a little funky or maybe it sounds weird, definitely giving them a chance, because you're going to get healthy fats in your diet already. And you're definitely going to give an opportunity for a company that's trying to bring out another option, right? So great question. Anyone else see something like that recently?